It is crazy today. It is really warm here right now where I am. Autumn here in Australia is so weird. I've lived here for so long and still not used to it. Hey guys! Hope you're all amazing, and if you are not, I hope my video puts a smile on your beautiful faces and makes you laugh. Lucky you guys, you get an extra video from me this week because I had the time and I also felt like it on top of that. And it is sort of a, I guess you could say this is like a tag video and advice, manga collecting tips too, all in one. Tagged by Laura from the Manga Hoarder. Love Laura, love her manga passion, need to go check her out. Anything, as I always say, anything I mention in this video I'll leave down below. This was started originally by a dude, I can't remember his name, the Azmeki OHJ, I think that's how you say it. He started this hand-me-down tag, and the purpose of this tag or slash, some people have made an entire video dedicated to manga collecting tips. The whole point of this is to give your tips and advice on new manga collectors, because from way back when I first got into collecting anime and manga, even though I've only really re-entered into the manga collecting game since last year / the beginning of this year, in honesty. Since that time, it has grown so much of how big collecting has become, really specifically in this case for manga. Because, you know, manga is like two things in one. It's, you know, books and anime put together for these epic stories that you fall in love with. Manga collecting is a little bit, you know, more something to be more aware of, I'd say, more than anime collecting. I have done a video probably about, it was 11 months ago, I did a video talking about my old and new collecting habits with anime, so I'll leave some card thing or wherever if you would like to go see that. It's still pretty relevant, everything I said in that video. In terms of what I could come up with for giving advice for new people, it was pretty scarce because a lot of people have already mentioned who have done this tag thing, the obvious things that people would know, you know, budgets, sales, buying secondhand, those obvious ones. I feel like they're pretty much like common sense. Honestly, there is enough videos to go around here on this YouTube and on blog posts and whatever, giving you all the information you need about what you can expect when entering into this expensive hobby. Definitely more expensive if you're doing both, collecting anime and manga. I tried my damn hardest to come up with some tips that people maybe had not covered. I, in total, maybe had thought of 3 that nobody's mentioned yet. The first tip that I have for people who are going to enter into this expensive hobby is patience. And honestly, my second tip goes into this as well. Patience is such a key thing in this sort of hobby. Honestly, it's in any hobby. It doesn't matter, you know, I know manga and anime are expensive, but that could be the same as, say, somebody who loves collecting model trains. Those things are crazy expensive. It's the same as like figurines, or someone's a coin collector. It doesn't matter what you're collecting, you need patience. And, you know, in terms of manga, the need to go buy the latest titles that are hot, popular, and you think that they're going to disappear off the face of the earth. No, they're not. You need patience in a lot of areas with collecting, That goes for with not going over your budget. Having patience gives you a step back to concentrate on the things that are actually in your collection, that, you know, you can fill in the holes. And that is something I am doing right now. That is something I have been doing since I re-entered into the manga world. So for example, I can give is I had volume 1 of The Vision of Escaflowne for probably the last 4 years. And when last year I actually found through a secondhand site the next few volumes, because there's an 8-volume series. I only have up to volume 6, but they were selling volumes 2 to 6. So I managed to fill in the gap, and I've only got to go to find 7 and 8. So I consider that like a huge achievement. I don't think anybody can stress enough to you guys, especially you newcomers, that patience is just so important in any hobby, and that you have to emphasize that nothing is going nowhere. I mean, as I think Simply G mentioned in her previous video, that, you know, the only way that something is going to disappear from the face of this earth if it goes out of print. And I've missed out on so many titles that have gone out of print and are so hard to find, and you need sheer luck. So patience is a #1 thing. And the second thing that goes into this is there are many ways to get around patience. Now you guys know that there's like free manga apps that you can go read things on, but there's one source that I don't think anybody's mentioned in their collecting tips, which is the library. I have always been such a bookworm and loved the library. You know, when I first moved here, the library was such a godsend for me and my family. You know, to have access to their computers, and for me when I was starting school, you know, having access to the books. So the library has become so important to me since moving countries. The library I had previously in the UK was so small. There was like zero books. So when I walked into the library here for the first time, I just could not believe how many books there were, how big the facility was, how many computers there were in, and that there was a section dedicated to anime and manga. It was crazy. I remember I went on my very first library haul I ever got. I went crazy borrowing so many volumes of manga and anime. That was a glorious day. I just reminiscing there. Today I went to the library. I did to pick up some of the things that I had on hold. I'm currently doing, you know, Lolly's 30 for 30 April manga challenge, where you're reading at least 1 volume manga per day. And to do this challenge, I knew that I probably didn't have enough books. I wanted to include rereads in there, but also wanted to include some different types of manga for myself as well, because constantly I think if I would probably just have stayed in the shoujo genre for the longest time. I'm reading shoujo for the rest of my life, like manga wise. I'd be happy, but I'm older now and I want to, you know, broaden my horizons. So for example, one series that I really have been wanting to check out, just for example, there's so many here. So we have the first 2 volumes of Honey So Sweet. Now this has been, I've seen constantly around on Instagram, and I am excited to finally get to check out the series and then decide if it's something that I would want to collect or I'd want to keep borrowing from the library and finish it. Borrow from the library, guys. Kills 2 birds with 1 stone. The risk of blind buying a volume 1 and then you don't end up really liking it and you've wasted your money. That is something with manga in particular I cannot stand. I cannot borrow from your library, guys, because it is the most functional, best way to get around doing blind buys. I know there is the temptation to, you know, buy volume 1s and try them out, and then you don't like it, you waste your money, and I just can't stand that. So I am always borrowing from the library every single week. I have such a stack in my wardrobe right now of so many volumes of manga. There are various ones of series that I'm continually reading right now, and volume 1s. So the library is the #1 place I go now for if I want to check out a new series. I ain't gonna go buy the volume 1, like I refuse to. I will borrow it from the library. The library is an indispensable resource in this world. It truly is. And I'm so thankful for how much the library now, compared to say when I first started going, how much manga they have added to their library. It is crazy. They have lots of the newest titles, so that is something I'm very grateful for. So go to your library, guys. Go to your library. Going into like when, you know, where do I start with series? And noticed a lot of people have said, oh, start with like a long running series. Obviously you have to go with what you're interested in. But when I first started wanting to collect anime and manga, or manga specifically, I started with shorter series. Start out with shorter series that are only less than 10 volumes long. And to me, a series is short if they're less than 10 volumes long. One of the very first series I ever fully read was Absolute Boyfriend. That was from the library. And I found out that series was 6 volumes. One of the very first series I knew I wanted to have in my collection. Obviously now you've seen it in a few hauls, the last couple of hauls, I've accumulated all those 6 volumes. I think the best balance when starting a collection, honestly, is find out little shorter series, give them a shot, and then maybe have 1 or 2 longer running series that you can collect. Because I find there's so much more fulfillment when you get your hands on like a short series, to be honest. I feel like your collection grows a little bit faster than say you would with a long running series. So start out with short series. There is endless amounts of recommendations everywhere, and depending on what genre you're in, maybe it'd be cool to do a series maybe on this channel of shorter series to get into for different genres. That might be an idea. But yeah, start out with shorter series. Next one is, this is if you are truly serious in wanting to invest a lot of time and money into manga collecting, but this is something good in general, which is open up a bank account specifically for your hobbies, for somewhere for your money to go for your hobbies, and you don't have to worry about going out of your everyday account where, you know, you pay for your bills and your food shopping. Because the worst thing is you've spent money out of that everyday account on, say, manga and that, where that money, you know, should have been spent on food. And so I think opening up a bank account specifically for manga collecting or whatever it is you are collecting is, I think, a fantastic idea. Opening up a new bank account is, again, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Knowing that you have somewhere for where the money can come from, and you're not gonna worry about it going out of any of your other accounts, and also that it's somewhere to save. You know, put $5 there, $10 there, 20, whatever it is that you can spare that week. So yeah, it will be worthy on your mental state as well, trust me. We're all a cram of impulse buying. Yeah! Now we're on to the last 2 sort of least important points that nobody has mentioned, I know. And the last one might be a bit funny, but honestly, it's still noteworthy to me, in my mind. So one is social media. Social media definitely has become just a part of collecting culture. It has, you know, I really consider my Twitter account more of my rant fangirl space. Instagram definitely is the forefront for where you want people display what they're collecting currently. It definitely is important. I feel social media is at least an important tip to at least give a mention. I created my brand new Instagram account back at the end of December, and I created it separate from my personal one so I could just put, you know, be a fangirl, talk about all the anime and manga-ness, and talk about what's in my collection. I just wanted a fun space for that, and you know what? It has been fun since I created it, and I've gotten to know a few people on there, and I've gotten to discover some new like manga specifically, I want to collect, or I want to start or read eventually, and it's been great. It's a great atmosphere on Instagram in terms of like anime and manga collectors. One of the things I have found with manga collecting in terms of Instagram is you know, it's usually, as anything, it's always about the hot new popular titles. Like one that has been going around constantly at the moment is The Promised Neverland, because everybody loves the manga and stuff. Of course I want to check it out, just not in the right space and mood right now to want to watch something really, or read something really heavy. And I find that, you know, with series like that, you know, people feel this impulse to just go immediately like buy it. You know, I feel like social media definitely edges on your impulse urges that more than say when someone talks about how much they love a series, I think, or it's actually is equal in power as when somebody talks about a series they love. Now, it's become a thing of making your books or your DVDs or anime or whatever look pretty in pictures when you're showing off or presenting what is in your collection. People feel like they gotta keep up with this trend. They want to be in the cool club. Like, look, I'll just put some fairy lights on this picture, or like, oh, I'll just put like some relevant cuddly toy that's relevant to this manga. You know, look, I've gotten reeled into wanting to make some of my, you know, pictures like pretty, or present my books, stack them up against my wall or something. You know, I might put that effort in, but people get like, take it to the next level. Like they get really seriously into it, which is fine if that is something that they really love doing. And oh look, here's my cat. He's come to say hi. He just wants to get out, don't you? You just want to get out and say hi to the people. Say hi to the people. He's not happy. You know, I feel like the hype definitely with social media when collecting is equal in effect as when someone is telling you about how much they love a series, or you're watching a video. It has equal effect, it does. It's a fun space to want to share, you know, your collection and what, you know, what you got in your latest hauls or what you have bought. I found it is a nice place to do that, but people get reeled in with the trends. The trends, like anything. But so I feel that, you know, this is still an important thing to at least mention. This idea was actually sprung upon a couple of conversations I've had with a couple of people who collect manga, and they have found they're reeled into the trends and the hype, especially with, you know, manga challenges. Manga challenges definitely make you impulse buy, you know, wanting to participate, but it's like, oh, I don't have enough manga. Again, with that, I'm borrowed half of my books I'm posting on my Instagram right now. They're all from the library. I don't own them. They're all from the library. That doesn't bother me. Social media has become very effective as someone when someone is mentioning how much they love a series. The last point that I wanted to make is a silly one. But seriously, I still find them useful. They are so useful when it comes to books, and we use a piece of paper, but it's not the same. Bookmarks. Invest in at least 1 or 2 bookmarks. Especially if you're someone that, you know, takes public transport and you like to read maybe manga while you're on your way to work. I know it would just be easier, it's easier just to read digital manga, but you know, some people like to read a volume of manga, and seriously, you know, the worst thing is when you're reading a book, you lose where you are at in the pages. Now, I know that, you know, manga volumes are not exactly thick as regular books, but there have been a few times where I have been lost in what I'm reading in a manga. That's specifically if it's something I've not read for a long time. So yes, invest in at least a couple of bookmarks. Don't fold your manga pages. Oh, that is like the worst thing you can do. Don't do that. Don't do that to your precious book. And that is it, everybody. That is all the manga collecting tips that I can give you. I hope that, you know, I try to really think outside the box here, but seriously, it is common sense and knowledge of what it is involved, specifically in manga collecting, but I try to think out the box. So I do hope that whatever I have mentioned has at least helped out you guys, at least, especially new people. But I'm going to link a whole bunch of stuff, as I said at the beginning of this video, down below. Useful links for any newcomers. They're all going to be linked down below. I'm going to leave a massive list. I thank Laura for tagging me in this. I love doing these sorts of things. I do. I love talking about collecting and stuff, you know. Collecting I thrive for. Look forward to my end of wrap up for week 3 at the end of this week, and hope you guys enjoyed the video, and all the links are down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye for now.